Totally Beverages.
And sometimes hot sauce.
That is a tasty root beer.
Coffee.
Water.
Cerveza.
Mountain Dew.
Beverages.
Beverages hot sauce. Beverages hot sauce.
Welcome to Totally Beverages and Sometimes Hot Sauce, the show that was almost called K-Cups with Roro. I'm your host, Psychic Andy, but you can call me Roro. Right there, right next to me, right over here, the beautiful blue-eyed Barbadian, looking a little angry. What's up with you, JoJo?
I just hadn't found the cup yet, but here it is.
Wow. Shout out Chris Farron in the cup. Very excited. We need to do a cup update at some point in time. I think things are going really well for him because of that cup.
Oh, yeah. It's very similar to the Grail story, you know?
No, I don't.
I don't either, really. So let's move on.
What was I going to say? What's in that cup there?
H2O, straight out of the Culligan sink filter attachment into my cup. Room temp.
You're a Culligan man.
Tap temp.
I guess we've gone back at that in the years of yesteryear. Long time ago.
So it's still the same one.
Kind of a ridiculous, oversized, maybe kind of from back in the day.
That's right. It's like a silencer for your sink.
Yes.
And it is a big globule that dangles off the sink. I don't know. I guess you couldn't really use it for most modern sinks. But fortunately, in our house, we have a weird old gooseneck, shout out duck neck sinks, that just you can screw right onto the thing there.
We'll get a picture of that up on T-Bash Live on Instagram and tomorrow. That's happening. Yeah. That's happening. I'm beyond excited for tonight's guest and for tonight's Bev. I also want to say, not to tease too much, I feel like this is going to be our first truly blind shootout of the new era. I feel like.
It is. This has already caused much consternation, both in my household and outside. I had to call Roro pre-show, make sure we were doing this right. I'm feeling dialed in.
Yeah.
My wife set everything up, and I trust her implicitly. And I think that this is going to, I'm really excited for this to go off. It's almost not a double blind shootout, but a 2X blind shootout.
Yeah, I think by the end of the night we will have a name for what type of shootout this is, because it is special, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But first, let's dive into a little quick biz, as we like to do. We like to check in on our vision board. Everything's looking good here. Josh, I do have one update that I wanted to add today. I didn't give you a heads up on this, but I think you are going to support it wholeheartedly. Are you ready? Charman, baby.
Charman.
It's come up on multiple episodes. I don't know why it hasn't been put on the vision board until now.
You spend so much time in Ojai.
I've been there a few times. Next time I'm there, I'm going to grab as much Charman as I can put in my car. So we're very excited about this Ojai-based hot sauce. And honestly, if we're going to make dreams
leave a child behind and fill a back seat with plenty more.
If we need to get this before I can get to Ojai, we could also just get on charman.com or something like that and get those. If someone wants to make our dreams come true, or JoJo, if you want to make my dreams come true.
No.
That'd be a first.
I thought I already had, but all right. Okay, maybe. I never have. That's an update. Yep, it's not on here. I don't on the dreams come true board. Okay.
I don't see a picture of your beautiful face right there. I sure don't. Not much to update there. We're not manifesting this week, but that's okay. That's okay. Next week, we're on holiday. Mr. Snackers will be on holiday, as we will too. So we are taking next week off, but I do think you can expect some special vacay social media posts from both of us. Would you say that's appropriate, JoJo?
100%.
And I think it goes without saying that everybody here would really appreciate some Mr. Snackers vacay social
I'll
media
do
posts
my
too,
best.
if you could do it.
Yes. He's hard to capture once he hits the beach.
Did you ever find out what had happened 2 weeks ago with the power outage or anything? Any
Somebody
updates
did.
there?
You know, this is funny. I was talking to them just yesterday, and I got put on hold for a minute over something unrelated. But when then one of the other a staff member I don't normally talk to there picked up the phones. They must have been getting a lot of calls, and said that I would kind of just ask them. We were just, I think she was trying to make me feel comfortable while I was on hold, and just kind of, we were just chatting, and I asked, I said, like, hey, what did happen? And it does sound like that maybe one of the ducks chewed through some wiring.
I don't even know why I'm laughing. I feel like an asshole.
Doesn't
That's
it feel
not
strange?
funny at all? I'm sorry.
Doesn't it feel
Was
like
the
the
duck
kind
okay?
of thing?
Was the duck okay?
I didn't even ask. What kind of asshole am I?
Jesus. All right. Let's move on. This is disturbing, and
God,
I guess we're both disappointing each other in this moment.
there's a lot of disappointment. All right, good way to start.
Good way to start. We're on the YouTube now. You can catch all of our replays on YouTube the next day. So Twitch, you know they're there if you want to come stop by Twitch. And Twitch is super fun because you can clip your favorite moments. But if you're more comfortable on YouTube, go to youtube.com, search for Totally Beverages and Sometimes Hot Sauce. And the episodes will be there tomorrow as well if you'd rather watch us there.
Especially if you want to catch up on some while we're off. Highly recommend going back and rewatching these. We think they're great.
We think they're tremendous. Follow us on our social media at TBashLive. We're everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. We got the Discord cooking these days. What else we got?
Today's hot action for the Discord also. It's the spoiler cam in the Discord. There's now a feature that Roro discovered in Discord. Thank you.
Do you want to explain this? I think maybe
Yes.
next week we should have a picture of it, which I should have done.
Yes, you can't unspoil it once it's been spoiled. But if you were to go there right now, if any of you went to our Discord and went to the channel that is about spoilers for blind shootouts, it will blur the photo and it says spoiler. And so then, and only then, if you click on it, will it reveal what's in there. So like tonight, I handed my wife my phone, which is not a Discord user, unsurprisingly, and she was able to take that, press that photo, and set up my blind shootout.
Voila.
Worked like a charm, we think.
I love it. Yeah, we think. We shall see. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready, JoJo?
Oh, so ready. So ready.
Oh, gosh. Very, very excited for tonight's special guest. Okay, number one. We got a TV film producer who drinks things. And what do I spy? What is he clutching there, JoJo?
Excuse me. Is that a Kool-Aid burst?
I think, is that a jammer or a burst? I can't tell.
Oh, that's a jammer. You're right.
I think it is a jammer. I don't know why he has a jammer. Not related to what we're doing tonight. As a producer, he has produced a new documentary called The Water of Life. And this is a documentary all about whiskey. I kind of am pinching myself that he's on this show. Here we go. Forbes magazine said, the most ambitious piece of media ever made about whiskey.
That's a quote right there.
That is a quote. So we are beyond excited to force this man to drink. Do I dare say? How do you? I don't want to knock the kind of whiskey we're drinking, but you know.
I mean, I don't think it's featured in the movie. Is that
don't
fair to
think
say?
I don't think there's a chance in hell it's featured in the movie. That's the perfect thing to say, JoJo. He might like ducks. Please welcome Trevor Jones.
Hey.
So
I am, both of you, so excited to be on the show with you.
we are so excited to have you. And I mean, it just is kind of crazy what we're going to make you do tonight. But we're really glad that you're going to be holding our hand through this, because I imagined in the process of making this movie, you learned a whole hell of a lot about whiskey.
Yeah, tremendous. We spent maybe 3 or 4 weeks traveling around Scotland, filming every day in at least one or two different distilleries. And the thing about Scotland and distilleries is everyone gives you drinks. They give you whiskey everywhere you go, all the time. In liquor stores in Scotland, you can do taste tests.
What?
In your liquor store? You can go to a liquor store anywhere in Scotland and just say, "I was thinking of buying that. I'm not sure," and they'll
open it up
right there,
like a Trader Joe's with different chip products.
Yeah, except just with like all of the booze in the world. Yes.
When you first said every day, sometimes multiple distilleries, Jojo looked like simultaneously stunned and drooling at the same time.
And then when you when you said they keep giving you booze, I was like, well, you're visiting 2 distilleries a day. I'm flabbergasted. It's what an incredible experience. I'm already super jealous, and it sounds very fun.
I remember most of the making of the movie.
You're doing your job.
Some less so.
I'll tell you just a really
the part with the bear. No, forget that.
Was there a bear in the movie suddenly?
I don't think so.
Remember, yeah. We did an interview at a bottling plant where you have to do the interview super early in the morning because the bottling plant is crazy loud. So you have to do it before the place is open. So we went there at 7 a.m. to do this interview. And at the end of the interview, the rest of the crew runs off to go film the rest of the distillery. And I stayed with the bottling hall manager just to shake hands and do sort of producery things. Thank you so much for your time. Sign some paperwork. And he said to me, "Trevor, it would really honor me if you could taste what we're bottling."
Yeah, I would.
So I was like, "Yeah, sure, of course, I'd love to." So he asked the kid behind the line, "Hey, can you get Trevor a sample?" He comes to me in a glass, Glencairn glass, which is like the traditional Scotch whiskey glass. Big.
Roro knows. You don't have to tell him twice.
Roro knows. It's so full that it's only the surface tension of the water that is keeping it from pouring off the edge.
Whoa.
And he hands it to me. I have to like sip it out of this kid's hand while he's holding it just so it doesn't spill on the floor. And I sipped it and I handed it back to him and I said, "Well, I mean, it's amazing. It's a wonderful. Thank you for sharing this with me." And he goes, No, I want you to tell me how the flavor evolves through the dram.
Wait.
Oh,
What is
no.
what is the dram? The dram?
The dram is what they call the drink. So a dram is like a glass of whiskey. So
he's saying, "I want you to drink this entire goblet of whiskey right now while I watch you drink it?"
yeah, like a foot away from me now because the bottling plant's now going. So he's like danger close to me, staring at me while I sip this, basically like 3 or 4 ounce whiskey.
Like TV close to you, just
Yeah, totally, totally.
Well, and is there? Did you do it?
No, thank God the director came back to look for me to find out what was taking me so long, and I was like 2/3 of the way through. So I quickly was like, "Greg, come over. You have to try this. It's amazing." Handed it off, walked away. But that was like 8 a.m. On a 2 distillery day.
And what? There were two after that,
Right.
And so, oh man, all right. With this one, how big is that glass? What's the volume? Do you think?
I would think you probably fit maybe 4 ounces in there. 3 ounces.
Holy
3,
shit!
4 ounces.
Okay,
Yeah.
You can get smaller ones. They come in different sizes, but I wish I had one here with me. I don't. But they're like sort of bulb in the bottom, and then sort of like
Yeah.
They're the kind of awkward glass like you can't drink it comfortably because the top hits your nose when you're trying to.
Why do you think it got classic status?
I don't know. The glass lobby.
The glass one. They wanted that extra bubble.
Yeah, exactly. You need to have a new glass for all your stuff.
Well, go on, Jojo. Sorry.
Can I ask? I want to know. Was there a day, or how? I feel like this is inevitable. Was there a day? I'll ask first. When you thought, "I think I'm done with whiskey." Like, okay, all right, now we're talking.
No, and I'll tell you why. Because everything that people were sharing, because we were filming and we were in with the distiller, so we would go into the warehouses. They were super excited to share stuff with us. So we would film a guy pulling a cask sample out of a cask in the warehouse, pull a cask sample out, and we're for filming, so we could film.
Right.
We got the whole crew
with those like fun pipettes.
Right, exactly, right. And so they pour it into a glass, and then we'd film it, and then they'd say, well, wait, I already poured it, so you guys should all try it. So this is pre-COVID times, obviously, and we'd all take a sip out of the same glass. And then we'd say, well, we need to shoot it again for another angle. And he'd say, oh, if you're going to shoot it again, let's go to this other cast because I want you to try this other thing, which is even more incredible.
Wow.
Oh my God.
So we would just travel around.
So, okay, real quick, because there's people in the comments that have questions. We're going to get to the beverage profile, everybody, but I think since we're here, and we really don't ever have anybody on the show that's like really in the trenches like this. So people
that knows what they're talking about.
Exactly. Because we sure as hell don't know. So if you could field a couple questions, Trevor, we've got this right here from Dino Clorox, I believe. What do you think about whiskey barrel aged things?
The things that are not whiskey, you mean, or whiskey aging in barrels?
Oh,
I feel like the question has to be the other things.
I mean, look, Scotch whiskey itself is aged in a whiskey aged barrel itself, because Scotch whiskey is aged almost exclusively in other kinds of barrels first. The barrel it's aged in either used to be a bourbon barrel, or used to be a sherry barrel, or used to be some kind of a French or Spanish wine barrel. So all Scotch whiskey is aged in a barrel that was once aged something else.
what happens to the Scotch barrels then?
So they
just get kicked to the curb?
Yeah, well, so they share them around, like they'll use them 2 or 3 times maybe, and then I don't make them into like lawn ornaments, I guess. I don't know what they do with them after that.
Those become Adirondack chairs and
exactly Adirondack
cocktail
chairs
tables at wineries.
Perfect, exactly right.
Yeah, and Dino Clarks did clarify non-whiskey things. What do you think about that?
I think it's awesome. I think if you're going to take something amazing like whiskey and put something else in it that could maybe make that other thing more awesome. Like if you were to have a beer that's aged in a whiskey, they do that a lot, like bourbon barrel aged beers. I think that's great. Why not? I mean,
I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating that that the Scotch whiskey itself is a barrel aged thing, is a whiskey barrel aged thing. I like that. Or anyway, or
sherry or wine or whatever.
Right, that it is whatever, that it's also itself kind of what the questioner was asking about.
All right, Shabo Bay. What does Trevor think about the big ice cubes? Do you prefer sphere or cube or any other fun shape? Thoughts?
Stars, dinos.
Yeah, the dino shapes. That sounds awesome. I like them. I like the big ice cubes because they melt slower, I think is the idea, so that they dilute your beverage more slowly. The problem with them, obviously, is as you drink and they slide up and rest against your lip while you're drinking them. So there's like an aesthetic issue I have with them in terms of the way they feel on your lips. But they're great in that they look cool and they don't dilute your whiskey. And this at the same speed as like crushed ice would or something like that.
Oh yeah, pebble ice.
I love it. And since we're here, we're going to be drinking more whiskey, but before the beverage profile, let's just talk about the movie a little bit. So the name of the documentary is The Water of Life, and am I correct? It is currently on PBS, like people can stream it and watch it on PBS as we speak?
Yeah, you can go to the PBS website and stream it right now. If you want to, or not right now, but like at the end of this show, you could.
Yeah.
Hell, go now. Just leave this. What are you doing? Run. There it is. The Water of Life.
Yeah. And then it's playing actually on PBS broadcast through the year. It's not in every market and not every PBS station's playing it, but you can check your local stations or you can check our website.
Yeah, you had here. I'm going to find it real quick, actually, because you had a really great page that shows. Wait, did I literally just go to where I was before?
I think that you did.
Oh yeah, I did. I think I did. But there's a page on here that has like if you go to their website wateroflifefilm.com, you can find out all the screening times on PBS and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And which market it's in, and so on. Yeah.
I will drop the streaming link in the comments.
Love it. And what is the heart of the movie? What were you guys setting out to do?
Well, the director, Greg Swartz, he went on his anniversary in Scotland and traveled around drinking. As far as I know, that's the only thing you can do in Scotland. It's all we did while we were there.
That's all you did. Yeah.
Maybe the Scottish people in the chat can tell you what else there is. Golf, I guess. Also,
drink there too.
It's true.
Pretty
it's
famously.
True. Fun fact: the national animal of Scotland is the unicorn. I just think it's always important to point that out.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
That tracks.
Solid drunk fact.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what was the question? What the movie? Why
No, yeah, I was just kind of saying, like, what is the I think my exact question was like, kind of what is the heart of the movie? What did you guys set out to do? What is the film about, sort of?
Well, so there's a ton. Everyone in whiskey. I guess if you spend your entire life in whiskey and then thus drinking whiskey, you tend to be a pretty interesting person. And most of them are really good storytellers and love to tell a story. And so we just started traveling around, hearing stories and trying to focus in on a story that we wanted to direct the film towards. And we found this incredible story about this distillery called Bruichladdich, which is relatively small, and at the beginning of our story in the film was mothballed distillery, and these two guys who were super unlikely duo get together and basically turn it into a sort of industry changing titan.
Wow.
And these two guys are also deeply fascinating guys. One of them, Jim McEwen, drops out of school at a young age and starts like sweeping floors in a distillery. He's from Islay, which is where Bruichladdich is. It's this tiny island with 3,000 people off the west coast of Scotland, windswept. But the island itself is incredible. It's like 3,000 people and like 9 distilleries.
Whoa!
Wow.
So
Yeah.
this is the blood town. Everybody's connected to this in some way.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the guy Jim says in the film that if it wasn't for whiskey, that Islay would be a bird sanctuary. So him, and then there's this guy Mark Renier, who is a wine merchant. A much more sort of well-off guy. He tastes just. There's a story at the beginning of the film where he's a wine merchant. He's no interest in whiskey whatsoever. He throws his card into like a raffle to win a bottle, just to be polite to a guy who's asking him to. He wins the raffle. He goes to the guy's place to taste whiskey. He's no interest in the whiskey whatsoever. He's disgusted even by all the tastes of the whiskey. And he tastes this one whiskey, Bruichladdich, and he says it has all of the things that he had learned to love about a great wine. And he decides he wants to go visit the distillery. So he travels by bike with his brother playing golf all the way up to Islay.
Of course.
That's the only other thing to do there. So he gets to the distillery to see this distillery that changed his mind about whiskey, and it's closed. And there's a sign on the gate, and the sign on the gate says plant closed, no visitors, or something like that. So he rattles the cage to try to get someone's attention because he wants to come in and take a look around. And the guy who comes up, he says, "Hey, do you mind if I take a look around?" And the guy says, "No, you can go fuck off." and so he decided at that moment, right? So he decided that moment, I'm going to buy this distillery, and I'm going to.
Oh, what a flex!
Yeah. Oh, can I? I can go fuck off. Okay, great.
Yeah. Wait till I'm your boss. Which he did become that guy's boss later on.
Wow.
But anyway, so then he buys the distillery with a couple of other guys. They hire this guy Jim, who's the local,
love Jim,
whiskey guru, and then they just made hundreds and hundreds of different whiskeys, and they broke lots of rules, and they were very transparent. They didn't. There's a lot of things in whiskey that are now commonplace with Scotch whiskey that everyone knows about, but that used to be everyone in whiskey knows about, but used to be sort of, like lots of places color their whiskey to make it look browner or whatever. And they were very open about it. So
nice. We're pro
yeah,
transparency.
so Big Man Weedram just mentioned that guy still works there. The guy who told Mark Renier to GFY.
Amazing.
Wow.
That is wild.
Gotta love somebody in the chat who backing up these bev facts with additional info. We appreciate that.
Unreal. Well, this sounds amazing. I hope everybody goes checks it out. Maybe we have like a little, what do you call, like, not a book report, but a film report, Jojo.
A film report. Absolutely.
Everyone go watch it this week, and we'll chat about it next week. Man, that is amazing. So before we...
Well, next week we're on vacation, but, sometimes.
Well, yeah, so we have 2 weeks to do it. That's perfect.
That's right. That gives everybody extra time,
got
no
2 weeks.
excuses.
Okay, before we get into more whiskey talk, and I'm sure we're going to have so many more questions for you, Trevor, when we get to the shootout, let's do a quick beverage profile with you, Trevor. So
Great.
we like to go through a typical day, starting at the time you wake up till the end of the day. We just like to get a feel of what you're drinking. We want to see what kind of bev head you are. So what time are you waking up these days?
Normally I wake up when my kids wake up. So like 6-ish, maybe 5:45, sort of that ballpark.
Okay.
Earlier than I'd choose to, but kids run the show over here. So
first beverage that hits the tongue, hits the lips. What do we got happening?
hot black coffee. Every time. At least
is this
two.
in the kitchen, or is this waiting at the bedside table?
No, in the kitchen, and I make it in the kitchen, and then normally I sit in the living room, stare out the window dramatically, and sip my cup.
What kind of coffee maker and what kind of coffee?
It's a pretty standard, like Mr. Coffee type of drip coffee machine. It has an alarm setting that I've never been able to figure out how to do, where it automatically turns on in the morning.
Oh, but that must be so tempting at 5:45 in the morning as you're staring at that little blank clock face and thinking, somebody could get this thing programmed so this was ready for me. Right, when I'm forced awake at this time.
A couple of times, though, setting that alarm and waking up to it not pouring, it's like made me gun shy in the whole situation.
Yeah, that feels deflating.
Yeah.
That's a real... That's a slayer, especially if that's on like a Monday morning. Not the way to kick off the trip.
Right. So black coffee first. That's it. Black coffee, and I have like 2 or 3 cups.
Okay.
Oh, but
By
I do.
what time?
I do have the machine that is it like grinds the beans.
Okay, it's attached to the machine. The grinder's built in.
Right.
And what kind of beans are you ripping most days?
Well, most days I bypass the grinder. Most days I go straight for pouring the powder, the pre-ground coffee right into the filter. And I used to be just a straight regular, like dark roast grind guy, but I'm kind of getting into the flavored coffees now, I have to say.
Give us an example.
Go on.
Like the vanilla coffee, or there's a hazelnut, which is really good. I use
We
Do you
need
have a
some
brand
brand
loyalty?
names here.
Brand,
Yeah. You're being very vague. The vanilla coffee.
What is the brand that we use? Don Francisco.
Don Francisco.
Oh, Don Francisco.
I'll call in for an assist on that one.
I love it.
Good work.
Yeah, Don Francisco, the flavored coffees, fantastic, delicious, and yeah, I'm finding it harder and harder to do like the hard dark roast. Straight.
Gotcha.
black.
Yeah.
And you don't like to dress it up at all. You're straight black, so that's not an option.
Yeah, but I had a pretty traumatic experience that led to that black coffee.
Go on.
As a young man, a very young man, I living in New York. I had a cousin who was I'd never met him before. My mother called me and said, "Your cousin, who's a pilot for Aer Lingus, is flying now into New York, and he'd like to meet up with you for a coffee. Would that be okay with you?" I was 20 years old, so pilot cousin sounds awesome. That's
That sounds
cool.
great.
Maybe he can hook me up with some cheap flights. So I meet him for a coffee, and sidetrack to that, he told me when I was going to meet him at the hotel, he said, "I'll be in a jumper. I'll be in a white jumper."
Oh, okay. I didn't know if that was an airplane thing or something.
See, I didn't know
His
that.
outfit.
I'm going to jump.
I didn't know that either.
You're going to
So
parachute in.
I thought, is he going to show up in like a World War II
Flight suit.
like a flight suit? What is a jumper? Anyway, it turns out that means sweater.
This is a sweater.
Oh,
So,
A white sweater. Nice. I like that. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Bold move on a coffee for a coffee outing.
Oh, he was a bold guy. So so we went for coffee, and the whole way walking to the coffee shop, he's telling me about how there are all these underground Irish clubs in New York where they go and play fiddle, and all the Irish people with instruments go and like meet and play and have jams.
Wow,
And
like on the Titanic.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the guys, had they survived, that's where they would have been going. And so we get to the coffee shop, and I start shoveling the sugar into my coffee, like I'm digging for treasure, and top it off with the heavy cream. And the whole time I'm watching the brightness of his excitement at meeting me start to dim and fade.
Oh no.
Because he's drinking his coffee black. He's a pilot, and he's an adult, and I'm a kid, and I'm drinking as much sugary. I'm making my coffee into a milkshake, basically.
Yeah, great choice.
Exactly, and it was delicious. But I never got invited to the jam session afterwards, and I never spoke to that cousin again. So from that day forward, I was like, you know what? I'm going to just suffer through this black coffee until I like it, and it worked. But
I have very mixed feelings about this story, Trevor.
I do too. On the one hand, to have the self-awareness to know that you can cut people out of your life permanently with one simple purity test, and that is black coffee, I do kind of envy that. However, that's bullying.
Yeah, I mean, I probably am better off without him, but it did leave some scars.
And one wonders. Listen, lately, the vanilla coffees have been tickling or scratching an itch, if you will.
Yeah,
One wonders what a one scoop of sugar and a little cream would do for you. One wonders. That's all I'm saying.
You
you
might
know what?
never fly again.
I think you're onto something here, and I feel like I've wasted the better part of my life drinking black coffee.
Oh,
I don't know if you were doing it for the right
sad.
reasons. I will say that. Okay, after this black coffee, what's happening the rest of the morning into
that's
lunchtime?
enough of that.
Right after that, grapefruit juice.
Whoa! Okay, I didn't see that coming. JoJo's
Black
excited.
coffee and a grapefruit juice.
Woo!
And now, if that's not like a Don Draper breakfast, I don't know what is.
Yeah, vodka free, but
That's
the grapefruit
okay.
juice
Fine.
is, I think, I've convinced myself that it is medicinal, that it can cure what ails you. If you have a cold coming on, grapefruit juice. If you have a hangover you need to cure, grapefruit juice. Everything is cured by grapefruit juice. So the grapefruit juice is not just because it's delicious, also because it's like sets me up for the day. It's like cures erases the damage from the day before, makes me forget about Jared the pilot. Move forward.
Is
That
with
black coffee
ice? Do you have a
spirited away.
particular
Yeah,
brand
yeah.
ice? What's your situation there?
Not because I think it matters, but because I'm convinced myself that it means something. As long as it's not from concentrate, whatever kind of like fresh sort of Tropicana, big style grapefruit juice. No ice because it's already in the fridge and it's cold. But also there's something about the like acidity of the grapefruit juice in your mouth and going down your throat feels like it's
Doing something.
yeah,
Swabbing the decks.
exactly.
Yeah. JoJo, you like grapefruit juice, right?
I do. Delicious.
Yeah. For me, it's not for me, but just hearing you talk about kind of the medicinal aspects of it, I feel like that could maybe get me on board. Like I want to try it again with that in the brain.
Yeah. I like
okay.
I like a sweet bitter combo. It works for me, and grapefruit juice has just a little. Oh yeah, is this ruby red or is this the classic orangey kind?
Oh, I gotta go with the ruby red.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, it's certainly the most palatable.
Yeah.
Okay. So what after grapefruit juice?
Then it's pretty much LaCroix the whole day.
What are your flavors?
Well, so this is something just happened today. This is hot off the presses. Normally I go for guava or hibiscus.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
However, I was just talking to my wife about this, and she said to me, "You should mention the Cubana mojito." And I was like, "There's no such thing as a Cubana mojito LaCroix." And she said, "Yes, there is, and it's right here."
Oh.
Okay.
Wow.
See
We should
that?
also mention that your wife is friend of the show, Natalie Smyka.
That's correct.
What?
Yeah.
I've never. Jojo, have you seen that flavor before?
I have never seen that flavor before. And we
What?
also happened upon a new LaCroix flavor in my household this week. Cherry blossom.
Never heard of cherry blossom either.
I know. It feels new. I was at 2 grocery stores today. Didn't see it in either one. So who
You know what?
knows where this came from?
They're just constantly innovating over there. It's incredible.
What, and Trevor, do you like this
How are you feeling about
Cubano
the
flavor?
Cubano?
I didn't have the Cubano because there was 4 of them, and apparently my wife drank them all. She was like, "Oh, I think there might be one more," but no, she drank all of them.
That's a decent report and a little side beverage profile update from Natalie Smyka.
Exactly. She's big into the Cubano mojitos.
Can you smell it? You have a can there. Can you take a whiff off of it and see if you can get any sense of what's going on there?
Oh, it smells delicious, I'll tell you.
Oh,
Hint of lime.
Mhm.
It's very nice.
Gosh, that might be going on the vision board.
I agree.
Ooh. Okay, so after that, you're having LaCroix. It's lunchtime. It's getting to be dinner.
If
I
there's any
feel like
left.
you're a cocktail man, but I don't know what's happening the rest of the day.
So during the summer, because all the beverage profile changes seasonally, but
Love it.
for right now in the summer, it'd start in on the beer for sure. Big beer guy. I love a bitter IPA. More bitter, the better.
Ooh.
And then I also have a thing where I think it's important to drink local beer, but not because I want to support local businesses.
Okay.
It's funny. You're the second person on the show that said that recently.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Fuck the local businesses. No, I
Oh, we're going to be able to make a super cut,
Supercut.
Jojo.
someone told me once that if you eat local honey, you don't get allergies.
Yes.
So
That's
I have
what
a
they
theory
say.
that if you drink local beer, you just don't get hand.
This is solid. Yeah.
I'll
the
run
science
with
backs
that.
it up. You know?
Yeah. So I have a couple of beers. What I'm drinking now is a Lansing local beer because I'm in Michigan.
Oh, there's lots of beers there.
Tons. So I'm drinking a lot of Michigan beers, and then I'd switch, of course, to the whiskey.
Of course. Now, do you stay Scotch whiskey when you switch to that whiskey?
Almost exclusively because of the making of the film, I get gifted it all the time.
I was going to say, you probably got a sick whiskey collection
You got a
going
stash.
now.
There are people in the film that have much better collections than I do because they're better at not drinking their way through bottles as quickly as I do.
Aye. Yes.
But I do get gifted a lot of whiskey, so I do like to have a couple of drams, as it were.
Love
In a dram
And
glass? In the famous whiskey glass called
Of course, and it's not necessary, but I do it anyway. Again, because I also have been gifted hundreds of those.
Oh.
Every time you go to a distillery, also, by the way, they just give you those glasses. They ask you. We tried to give one back at Ardbeg, and the woman at the counter said, "If you give it back, I have to wash it." So
I really don't want to do that.
so just take it home.
Have to
So-
do that in the break room sink and,
Yeah, exactly.
So end of the night, then, after all of this, what's hitting the nightstand with you?
A water, just a regular fridge tap,
indoor fridge tap.
indoor fridge tap, water, no ice, in a mason jar.
Love it.
That's great. Lid
Yeah,
on
Put a
used to-
top
used
on
to-
that?
Yeah.
I don't put the top on, but my mason jars, most of them used to contain jam. You save those jars; they make fantastic glasses.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It
Or
is.
you use it to store more food. Put the cap back on.
This
or-
feels like a thing that used to happen much, much, much more often. And it seems strange that we've come through like a mason jar revitalization as a drinking vessel. but almost none of them come from jelly jars.
It's a hidden gem, I'll tell you. And you can also, if you're walking, out into the yard or onto the beach, and you want to have it, you could cap it up and
Oh yeah,
away from spilling.
Absolutely. All right.
Doesn't this seem like a lost? This seems like a lost business idea here. Is that people should be making more custom jam jars with the intention that you reuse them as drinking vessels after you've finished the product. That was a thing in the 80s. There was ones with the dinosaurs on them.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember?
I vaguely remember that.
I could see someone doing this. You find
could
some
see you
place
doing
that maybe I will. I might have to. It just feels like leaving too much money on the table.
So
I know Trevor would buy them.
I would, of course.
That's 4.
First in line.
Okay,
now,
great.
It may seem like I have ants in the pants because I'm pushing things forward so fast, but I am so excited to get into the shootout, guys, and I want to drink some booze with you gentlemen, like so bad.
Yeah, there's been too much whiskey talk without.
Yeah, this is so. Like, are we ready to get into the shootout and tackle these canned whiskey colas?
Yes.
Now, how are we going to do this? We have 2 canned whiskey colas. We've got a wait. You know what? I think I got a slide of it. Hold on. Let me see here. Okay, we have the Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey Cola, and then we have the Crown Royal Whiskey and Cola. Trevor, real quick, do you know why it's spelled 2 ways? Have you come across that before?
Yeah, it's a constant thing. So whiskey, in Scotland, it has no E, and in other places it does. There's some other place that just uses it with the Y, but it's a national thing. In Scotland, they don't use a E, and obviously in Tennessee they use the E. I think they use the E all over the U.S. I can't remember what Canada does. Canada must not use the E either, because I believe Crown Royal is.
I think you're right.
It's safe to assume, though, if you're a cool pilot cousin, you're ditching the E and just going with the Y version, right?
He would have done some bullshit thing anyway.
He would have said 2 E's and no Y.
Yeah, exactly.
So we got these 2 cans, and then we're going to kind of temper it with classic mixing cocktail of doing the same thing with Jack and with Crown Royal. So we need to kind of figure out how we're going to tackle this. So what we have, let me pull up the Bev cam real quick here. I have the real liquor poured into a couple cups, ready to go. Labeled here. If you go into our Discord for the spoilers, you would know what these are. So we're gonna pour Coke into those, and then we have our cans that I'm gonna pour into some glasses. You guys don't have to, but I think one of us should, just to show the difference of colors. You guys can drink out of the can or into a glass, whatever you prefer. But do we maybe start with the cans, and then in hopes of pouring the right amount of Coke into these to get them as close as we can? Does that make sense? Like, how do we do this? I'm open to any and all ideas here. I just want to drink. I'm so excited.
I feel like I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure you don't want to split that can. I think you kind of want about 1/3 of the can at most in there with the one bottle.
Oh, you mean of the Coca-Cola?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so I think that's part of it, is not going too heavy.
Okay.
I think you're just going to hit that ratio out of the gate, but then you can add it to taste afterwards, right?
Okay.
I don't know, does that seem good?
I think
it's a little
so.
imprecise, but...
So what are we putting in our bellies first?
Oh. Trevor, do you have a preference? Do you want to go cans or glasses?
Well, I don't know. I have to say, because are yours like this too, Jojo? These
Yes.
Oh, amazing. By the way, these wrapped like this in a bag survived my flight in my luggage. This is amazing.
Those should have been confiscated without question.
About it. I don't know. I kind of interested in cracking these open.
Let's do it. Let's start with one is labeled B and one is labeled D. I'm going to vote for D. Let's start with D.
Okay. I'm noticing this unconventional lettering system.
Yeah, I did that on purpose to trick myself, and it
Oh.
worked. Let me tell you, it absolutely worked. So
Okay.
on some of these other challenges, you might find me picking other completely random numbers. So I'm going to pour this into the cup here. Hold on, let me get the BevCam big.
I am not going to pour this into the cup. I'm going to drink it right over the tape.
Do
Yeah,
it.
Jojo, I'm like you. I want to drink this bomb like right out of the bomb wrapping here.
Yep, as it was intended. As nature intended.
Now, before the show, when we sound
Oh.
checked, I told Trevor to have paper towels ready, and I didn't do that, and I already need them.
This has a little Necco Wafers cola style on the nose.
It's smelling good from afar. I'm going to bring it up to my nose now.
This BevCam is impressive, by the way. Loving the Bev.
Wow. Okay, so that we'll come back to the BevCam too. Actually, maybe I will leave
The
it up, but we'll go
auxiliary
back to
inputs.
here. It smells great. It smells exactly how you want it to smell.
I don't agree that it smells exactly how I'd want it to smell, but I don't hate it.
It's very Coke forward
Yeah.
In taste or smell?
in both. I think. I mean, you can smell. I think you can smell the booze, but the taste feels extremely Coke
Yeah.
forward.
Would you agree with me that this is more boozy tasting than I would have guessed from the smell of it? Like, this feels pretty boozy to me, drinking it.
I wouldn't agree.
Mhm.
I think it smells more boozy than it tastes. I think it tastes very, very cola-y. I'm going to try and push some of this tape down just a little
And
bit.
let's see. I think it's who? Lizzie in the chat asking, what cola does it taste like? And I think that's a great question.
Very great question. To me, I want to say this has like a Pepsi vibe mixed with some sort of whiskey. And then there is almost like a powdery, almost like a Smarties aftertaste to it too. Not as sweet though, if that makes any sense. That's my assessment.
I agree with the Smarties note. That's a great note.
Yeah, to me, it's more Necco Wafers. This gets very, I think it's got a little herbal old-timiness to it. This to me is more like a Virgil's or a Hanson's or something. It's got a little natural cola vibe to it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the whiskey added to it. It is funny drinking these without ice.
Yes.
Do we know the ABV on one of these? Do you have one do you have a naked one around to look at?
No, but we can unwrap these cans afterwards and look at that. What's interesting is like if you think that you would normally have these on ice, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
That's a lot with ice. This becomes a very big drink if you were
It's
adding
too
ice
big.
to this. It's too big.
Yes.
But is this something you'd have on ice or like in a cooler full of ice?
Cooler full of ice. Absolutely.
Right. I just meant traditionally like a whiskey Coke.
Yeah.
Drinking
right.
one. But yeah, is anybody buying these at the store, cracking them open, and then pouring it into like a pint glass with ice? Probably not. Most people probably are just drinking them out of the can. And it's not as bad as I would have thought. I thought it wasn't going to be, I thought there was going to be like a very obvious characteristic that was like, these aren't very good. This isn't the real deal. But
Yeah.
you could trick me with this.
I agree.
Should we crack open the letter B?
Let's crack open the letter B. Hold on, let me write the letter D on this one so I don't lose it.
I don't think I saw that. I just caught a fly with my bare hands.
Holy shit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Replay. Somebody clip that for us, please.
Slow it down. Enhance.
Okay. Ooh, what? This has a much different smell.
Oh yeah.
And the can, at least, I'm putting it in a cup.
Uh-oh.
But it's got a different.
My little tab broke off.
What are you gonna do?
Oh,
now?
I got it. I made a little spill, but
Okay, this one. Huh. While I was pouring, I thought it was lighter in color, but looking on the camera, I don't know.
it could be a little bit. Whoa.
Okay. Wait, this is weird.
Oh.
The smell of mine smells rotten. Does it smell really weird to you guys, or does it smell anything like the other one?
Mine is wrapped in construction paper and masking tape, so that's most of what I get on the nose with either of these.
Okay, wait. You need to, Jojo. Can you grab a vessel to pour into? Because mine smells like something's really wrong with it, and so I'm actually like a little worried about drinking it.
I think you should just drink it anyway.
Trevor, what does yours smell like?
I do. I have a little
Mine-
glass.
This one smells much worse than the other one. But again, I can't be sure it's not the tape, but because it smells like adhesive a little bit, or like
So
Yeah, no.
Roro
No,
might
no.
have poisoned you.
No. Okay,
Smell-
yeah,
this
Jojo.
one's very different. It
smells fine,
very
but I
different.
know what it is. I think.
It smells. This one has. It's almost giving me a headache just smelling it. It has a. Fuck! What is that smell?
This honestly just smells like a bar to me.
There's almost like a manure or something. Not.
Oh,
I know
no.
last week we were talking about barnyard wine and stuff, but no, there's something. This is bumming me out because I feel like I'm gonna drink this and like I got the one can that's wrong and I'm gonna be like,
Oh, you're
shitting
gonna
my
get
brains
dysentery
out tonight or something. You know what I mean?
It's a good thing
I'm
you-
gonna take a
you
sip
sleep
though. I
off.
guess.
Yeah, tomorrow Trevor will be like, yeah, I got a little headache maybe, and Roro's gonna just be.
This is
Grapefruit juice. Just have some grapefruit juice on hand.
this is disgusting.
There's a little bit of BO to it, a little bit of Vegas, maybe a little Vegas bathroom.
You guys, I think I have a rotten can. This is really grossing me out. As Jojo just pounds his glass.
Yeah. Oh, I think I just got the thing that you're talking about.
All right.
Okay.
I might take one more small sip, but I
think you should.
really feel like that's dancing with the devil. You guys, you're not with me.
No, I'll tell you what. This one here feels. It's much. There's something more going on here that's not pleasant for sure.
And I guess we can all say without a doubt that the other one is getting much more right in the situation. Would we agree with that?
I don't agree.
What the fuck? I
You
don't
like this one
understand
better?
you sometimes.
I think I'm very curious to do. I'm getting a little bit buzzed. This is the problem when you talk and you drink a little bit of alcohol. It's doing the thing. I'm slurring the words. I'm excited to do the glasses with this because I do think this one is a little bit more closer to a bourbon and Coke than.
I think I got a rotten one. I think something's wrong. Something's wrong with what I wish.
I got a rotten one.
Okay, wait, whoa. It's almost like no. Peanuts. Does that resonate at all?
Oh, I like that. I like
Smell
that
it,
as a
smell
tasting
it thinking
note.
peanuts. Are you guys smelling any peanuts? Something's wrong
Yes,
with
yes,
my can.
yes.
You are.
I'll
a little
say
bit?
yes.
But not like ballpark peanuts, like the shell of a peanut.
Oh, peanut shell.
Yeah.
Shell.
Peanut shell.
adjacent.
I get that totally.
Peanut shell with a little manure, maybe.
I might be missing the manure, but the peanut shell, I get that.
A touch of bleach.
This is what I mean. There is a bit of bathroom to this, not unlike.
Yeah.
I feel like we're cans. Might be
Randy
some-
says, "Do I have another can?" In theory, Jojo. In theory, I do have one other can, don't I? Because I think I bought a 4-pack of these.
No, I
I'll
have
look
the
at-
other one. I have the other two.
Oh, because I
You
gave
gave
you
me
two. No,
two
I
and two.
don't. I don't. Great question though, Randy. All right, let's move on. I gotta.
But whatever it is, I'll open the other can if we want, and I could smell that, see if it's a
Well, we
like
won't know.
Charles
Don't-
Shaw ratio.
I actually,
of-
Jojo, I almost want you to save that can and then I can smell it later. Do you know what I mean?
Lizzie Bart says bottled at the circus.
Yes, exactly. Okay, let's pour some Coke into vessel C. Does that sound good, guys?
Vessel C. Coke.
Coke going into vessel C.
I will say, Roro, that last one, it definitely doesn't. It's not sitting. I don't know if there's a cumulative effect of all of the Coke. But,
Okay, this one. How much are you guys filling up? I had like a mini can. This is how high I went.
Confession: my Coca-Cola is very old, so that may be a thing.
Are we doing C? That's what we're doing, right?
Yeah, we're doing C. Now, interestingly enough, I feel like there is something similar to this C.
Well, it's got to be similar to one of them, right?
Yeah.
That's the hope.
As to, what was the last one we were drinking? Shit, I forgot to mark the cup. What's the last one?
The last one you're drinking is
B.
B. That sounds right.
I'm lost also. Wait, was that B?
Okay. Something
that was
similar to
B.
B. So
Yeah,
maybe it's in the booze, guys. This will be an interesting reveal. Okay, let's do a little C. You guys ready? You stirred and ready?
I'm doing. You know what I did? I poured Coke into both vessels so that they are the same amount, the same volume of Coke. So I'm at least
that's very
doing
smart.
apples to apples there.
That's
I
smart.
love that. I'm going to do that same thing.
Yep.
I need a little more Coke. I'm going to pop open another little mini can here.
I feel like there should be a lot of Coke too, because these ones, I feel like there's a lot of Coke to the amount of booze.
Let's start smaller, and if they feel, too strong, then we can add Coke. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Because I want to get to like the feel of the booze to be similar.
I got this going on.
I do need something to stir with. I guess I can
Cheers.
use this Sharpie.
This one smells better than the last.
Yeah.
Are you on? You're on.
We're doing C, right?
Okay, yeah, let's doing C. Okay, it does smell better, but to me it does have a similarity to B. We'll see if there's anything there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
I think I need to add a little bit more Coke to get the feel similar, which I'm going to do right now.
This is where ice would be just right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like with something like this, the ice is doing a lot of the heavy lifting too. Like I feel like maybe with ice is sort of mellowing out some of the grosser parts of this.
That's true.
100%. It's watering down everything, like watering down the soda and the booze. And it's keeping it cold and kind of homogenized the whole time.
Right.
Where this, you're getting a lot of waves. I mean,
If this C is not the same as B, I will be shocked.
agreed. Now, Trevor, do you have a relationship with either of these whiskeys, Jack Daniels or Crown Royal?
Not at all. Neither of them are made in Scotland, and we did all of our work in Scotland. So,
But on a personal level, any history?
Of course. I grew up in Canada, so all of the first bad mistakes I made were on Crown Royal. Plus, the little pouch that you get from a Crown Royal, the little like
the little satchel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's what we carried around all our D&D dice on when we were kids. I mean, that was the jam.
Wow.
That's what made you the most popular of the least popular kids.
Right, you're the bad boy of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which is
Our
the
bad
least
wizard.
bad boy of everyone else. But yeah. Okay.
All right,
Did you ever swing it like a sling at someone?
Yeah.
Your
best
okay.
stuff.
let's go over to K.
Let's go to
Okay.
K.
Better smell to me. This is really
Yes.
surprising to me tonight. I think this is going to be easier than I would have ever anticipated.
Yeah. Oh, I mean the completely different animals, which also makes sense because Crown Royal is a blended whiskey. Right? Are all Canadian whiskeys blended whiskeys?
I'm sure that there are probably Canadian single malts at this point, but I would guess
Right. Now
the majority of all whiskeys are blended.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I know what everything is, and I have the answer and a
Wow.
ranking. This feels
Well, let's circle back to some of the canned ones. Okay, can we all agree? I don't want to step out of line here, but I really do feel that mini bottle C goes with B and K goes with D. That must be so confusing for people listening. But
Yep.
I agree. I think we're unanimous on that.
okay, so with that being said, then let's do a little comparison. Let's go back and forth between K and
yes.
D
K
for a
and
moment.
D.
Okay, K and D.
D has a fruitiness now a bouquet, which must be cola based. But I think that the kind of some of that more herbal thing that I thought was the cola is actually the whiskey.
Yeah. There's definitely the canned one definitely feels smoother to me now, like not as carbonated, which might be just because we opened it earlier, but I also feel like it just has to do with that it has booze and Coke already mixed, where you're getting the fresh Coke in the other one. But as a little bit different consistency.
Yes.
I can drink this though. I'm okay with this.
Yeah. This is in my.
I wonder I can't wait to find out what the ABV is on these.
Yeah,
D.
we'll tear in.
That's going to be a real game changer.
I also feel like D feels to me like it's got to be lower than B.
Okay, let me look at that.
Oh, yes. I totally agree. If it's not, D is a sneaky one.
Yeah.
Trickster.
Yeah.
It would speak more to the quality of this one if they're the same.
The smell going back to the canned B is unreal to me. It is so unpleasant to me. I really just had like a visceral, my body, like I have goosebumps all over. I'm going to start sweating.
After doing all three, it is the grossest smelling of the bunch.
There's peanuts. It's definitely peanuts. It's definitely peanuts.
Yeah.
You're at the ball game. It's the peanuts on the ground.
Yes.
You put them in your Coke. They were chewing one. They got a home run. You spit them in your cup.
Yeah, you're right. It's like the bag of dry, unsalted, shelled peanuts that you wouldn't.
I just got it. God. As you were saying that, you are absolutely right. Bag of dry roasted baseball peanuts.
Yeah.
Your friend said, eat one with the shell on. Just try it.
Yeah.
And you went, all right.
It's so gross. It is so gross. Okay. And
I got to be honest.
When I go C, I have a hint of that. This will be the biggest upset ever if they're not if we don't have them right toe to toe.
Agreed. I think there's no chance we have this wrong. But what's fascinating to me is that B and C is that C is so far superior to B. Like B feels like if you're going to make a product B and sell it, it should be equivalent to. It should be better than C, right? It should be better than.
Yes, right. Or it should. Why would it not be equal? And selling it in a can, where I do feel like sometimes these canned cocktail things, they run into trouble because they're making something into like a sparkling beverage that maybe isn't really, or in a canned thing that it doesn't normally fit that volume. So like it might be too sweet or whatever it might be. It's like a canned margarita to me is not ideal because it's not the proportions you'd probably want if you're going to make one yourself. This, on the other hand, it's just adding booze to a can of Coke, which we've all done.
Right. Yeah, but I disagree a little bit because I feel like going into this, I just knew that the canned ones weren't going to be as good. Like, I would have been so surprised if they were as good or better. Where are you guys saying, or Trevor, you're saying that, like, it should be way closer than it is, sort of?
I'm saying if I'm selling this product, which is a product that makes a little bit easier instead of just combining two ingredients,
yeah,
it should be better than it is. I mean, if all you're doing is providing convenience, I mean, it's not like making a Jack and Coke is that inconvenient, you know, like you're saying margarita, there's a lot more going on there, I guess, you know, I could see the product having a slight lesser quality because then you're it's the convenience you're paying for. But with this, it's marginally more, like it saves you an extra 10 seconds in your day, but it's gross.
And what's also interesting is that kind of touches on like, who is this for and who is buying it? And JoJo found when we were dreaming this one up, we were like thinking, is there any other players in this? And JoJo found an ad for a Jim Beam and Coke from the 80s, which has since disappeared. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense that these are happening now with the canned cocktail craze.
Right.
But when you think about, you know, this happened in the 80s and disappeared, I feel very confident that these will disappear as well. They just don't seem to
Right.
make that much sense because who is buying this? Who is it for? I mean, I'm not mad at the canned D one. It's fine, but yeah, I don't know who these are for, and it is also weird drinking them without ice in a can, right?
Right.
Yeah. It's a strange one. That might be why there's only the 2 entries into the category. Like we really did search around. Even the other, your Cutwaters and, these brands that are doing canned cocktails aren't messing around with the sort of like well drinks, They're not doing a whiskey and Cola.
Right.
Also, am I the only one that's feeling I'm getting a sugar buzz from these two? Like I'm also, I mean,
Oh, for sure.
Like more than the caffeine, you're just
Oh
kind
my
of
God.
zipping
Well, maybe
because
the
like
caffeine too. I didn't even thought about the caffeine. My God, it's like it's like 1 o'clock in the morning where I am.
I feel. Thank you for staying up, by the way. I feel good though.
say hi
I
to your
feel,
kids.
I feel kind of hyped up in a good way.
Yeah.
But if I was only drinking the canned B, I feel like it would be a horrendous hangover.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Well, let's all right, let's guess. I don't usually like to be the first person that guesses, but I want to because I feel like you guys might be more confident, and also Trevor, you having your Canada stripes, I feel like you might just have some more intel. So do you guys mind if I guess first?
No.
Please do.
Okay. And this is also like wishful thinking. And don't affirm or disaffirm. We'll just move on to the next person. Then we'll go JoJo, then we'll go Trevor, okay? I think that B... Oh, is this crazy? I think B is the canned Jack and Cola. And I think C is a mini bottle of Jack with real Coca-Cola. Which means I think that can D is Crown Royale and Cola, and K is a mini bottle of Crown Royale mixed with Coca-Cola. That is my guess. It's also wishful thinking. I'm also not that familiar with Crown Royale. I don't have it in my head of what it should be, but there's something smoother and almost sweeter and more delicate, and that's how I think of Canadians. Friendlier.
And
JoJo, your thoughts?
Oh, I'll pass it to Trevor. I feel like
You
Trevor
think
was
Trevor
about to go
goes?
off. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I think that I also think that the peanut shell one is Jack.
Phew.
I think you're right. The way you broke it down is what I think also. I think that I think the smoother one and the one that's nicer is the Crown, and I think that the Jack is the peanut shell one. I don't remember ever having a peanut nose on a Jack Daniels, but
That's one confusing thing to me too, is that there is nothing in those that makes me think it's Jack. It doesn't remind me of Jack, but I just for some reason think the Crown Royale is the classier one at the dance. That's my hope, at least.
I think so too. And I don't want to talk too much before hearing JoJo's opinion. I'm eager to hear it, but I feel like Jack Daniels is a more aggressive type drink, and I think it's marketed towards like I've seen probably thousands of Jack Daniels shots. I don't remember other than when I was a little kid or a little kid. Canadians do it differently.
Ooh,
Like
gaga.
Royal shots, it doesn't feel like it's the same. Like there's an aggressiveness to that beverage that I think I'm getting from B.
Yeah. JoJo.
You're both correct.
Yeah.
Full stop. That is absolutely the right analysis. However, I will add, I wasn't getting the peanut nose on the can, but I have gotten a peanut nose on a Jack. It was one of those things that I have a friend who drinks it consistently. If you go to a bar, he gets a shot that he'll sip and a beer. Always gets Jack Daniels. And so I will occasionally join him in that. And I hadn't had it I really hadn't ordered a Jack Daniels in years, and got it at a bar, and so then just sipping it neat. It was peanuts all the way. It tasted like garbage, because I think it was like one of those just like first times back at a bar post lockdown times, and during the lockdown I was getting my booze from a bar owner friend. Shout out to the Fable in Eagle Rock. Go and support them. They stayed open all pandemic as basically a bottle shop, as many places weren't even able to do. But we're buying like Buffalo Trace and Four Roses from them at cost, basically, and so we're drinking nicer bourbons, and to go back to just like sipping a Jack was just a shock to the system. Smelled and tasted like peanuts. And so I know for a fact that C and B are both Jack Daniels, and so that must mean that C and K, or whatever, D and K are Crown Royal.
Now, okay, I think we're all in agreement here. One thing I want to circle back to before we do a reveal. The difference, let's say we're right and these are the Jack Daniels one. The Jack Daniels can is disgusting, is a much inferior product to the regular Jack Daniels mixed with the classic Coca-Cola. We all agree on that as well, right? That surprises me when you think how iconic of a brand Jack Daniels is. I would think that they would have the most at stake to, if I was to guess which canned whiskey Coke is going to be better, the Jack Daniels or the Crown Royale, I would have been like, oh, the Jack Daniels one. Like, they spent a gazillion more dollars trying to figure it out. That would have been my guess going into this. So that just surprises me. Again, we might all be completely wrong, but we all feel very confident.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Trevor's right about the aggression, I have to say. The other thing I'm going to add about the taste overall is that I think what I'm feeling here is for some hands across the border, because the Coca-Cola Classic and the Airplane Minis, the Nips, are really doing it for me, and the Crown specifically. But it is wild that if you were to go to a bar, and shout out to Lizzie in the chat who said this drink seems to only benefit the bartender. The ease of making it is almost for no one else. A 2-ingredient thing, I believe, is what they're saying. But having the Crown and Coke is to me like the winner. It's the most enjoyable to drink.
It makes me really like the Crown. I mean, let's hope. Shall we do this?
Let's do it.
Okay, so in our Discord here right now,
we're in
the spoilers section.
Spoilers.
We're at the June 15th blind shootout spoiler section, and see how it says spoiler. We're going to click on this to see what they are, and we're going to pray to God that I labeled these right and put the right picture in here. All right, let's see what we got here. You guys ready?
Just a different picture of something else entirely.
Just a nice nude. So again, we think that B is canned Jack and Cola. We think that C is Jack mixed with Coca-Cola Classic. We think that D is canned Crown Royale and Cola. And K is Crown Royale mixed with Coca-Cola Classic. Are we ready?
Yeah.
I can't see those.
K is Crown Royale. Correct.
Bing.
C, we are absolutely, completely correct, gentlemen.
Wow.
Sorry that we can't see that.
Simpatico across the board.
Awesome.
I really am surprised. I did not expect going into this that these would taste so drastically different. I'm so burpy. Burpy.
Now, also, real quick, to both of you, I ask, Jack Daniels and Crown Royale, which one is the classier product? Which one costs more? Is Crown Royale a classier product in general?
It does come in the bag. I don't know what price point, though. I'm going to look up right now.
I don't know about price point, but I will say I think just from like the feeling of those two, I don't know about price point or not, but Crown Royale feels like they're marketing themselves as a classier product, and Jack Daniels is like I think Jack Daniel's markets itself for shots. Like that's part of the
Yep.
thing. The whole label, the black label with it has sort of this old fashioned sort of type on it, and I feel like the whole thing is about
Gripping and ripping it.
yeah, gripping and ripping is exactly what I was searching for.
Okay, I'm unwrapping the. Ooh, this is very interesting. Okay, I'm unwrapping the Crown Royale Whiskey Cola. All right, everyone, take a guess. What is the ABV on this?
Oh, which one?
Crown Royale, and let's compare this to like what a Budweiser's. What is it like?
5, 4.5,
It's
5.
Yeah, exactly. 4.5, 5. Okay, so what are you getting in a Crown Royale Whiskey Cola?
Trevor?
Guesses?
I'm gonna guess 5.5.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 7.5.
7. I'm impressed on that. That I wouldn't have guessed as high. Good. I would have gone with you, Trevor.
Trevor, what's your last bitter IPA? What was that? Do those tend to lean up in
they're
that higher
right?
ABV?
Yeah,
7, 8 plus 9.
Yeah.
Okay, now the Jack Daniels.
I'm
What do we
surprised
think
for
we've
7.
got
I
going
expected
on?
to say for 7, I feel like I would. The reason I thought because it was, you don't get any heat off of the alcohol in that Crown Royal one.
No.
It's a sneaker, as JoJo said, I believe.
Yeah, it's very floral and everything else.
Because now this whole thing is throwing me off because Jack Daniels has to know what Crown Royal is doing with their product, and I feel like now I don't even know what to say what the Jack Daniels one's going to be. I would have guessed 5.5 for the Crown Royal and 7.5 for the Jack Daniels, but now I don't know.
Do you want to adjust for the Jack Daniels now, or do you want to keep it at 7.5?
I'm gonna 7.5. I mean 8. I guess it felt like it was. It feels like a lot more. It feels like a lot more Jack Daniels than the Jack Daniels one.
Yeah, JoJo.
I'm gonna weirdly say it's the same. I'm gonna just go. It's a flat 7.
You nailed it, JoJo. This smells so horrible. Unreal.
Wow.
Now,
I think that amplifies how much worse the Jack Daniels one is. That it's the same alcohol content. It feels like it should be way higher.
yeah, because it's gonna be a slog to get through. Meaning it just tastes so booze forward, and just booze. It tastes like a well drink in a way that's not fun.
Yeah.
By the way, and so for reference, I'm looking on the Bevmo website. A 750 milliliter bottle of Jack Daniels lists for $24.99, currently in stock for $18.99. Shout out, and a same size bottle of Crown Royal, a list price of $34.99. So it is a step up.
Okay.
And truly just a step up. It's classy. Jack Daniel's going to lose its crown. It shouldn't be associated with this drink. Call your shot. If there's something else that you like, get it in there.
Amazing. Crazy. We have some good comments happening in the chat right now. Shabo Bay, I thought Crown was cognac for the longest time just based on packaging.
Yeah, I can
feel
see
you
that.
there. Absolutely, Shabo Bay.
Very shape.
Brett O'Brett, Crown and Peach Tea can is pretty good. Give it a shot
this is
if you're at Target. That must be another canned cocktail?
Interesting. And so it's not carbonated. This is a flat beverage. Is that right?
I feel like I would be more into that. I feel like part of the thing that's affecting me is the caffeine and the sugar.
The sugar.
I'm starting to sweat over here.
26 grams of carbs, 233 calories in the Crown Royal whiskey and cola can. I'm trying to I guess they don't put the sugar. It's more about the carbs. I think that's all they're required to say. Shout out Bev Compliance, Bethany.
We got another comment. Randy saying, Roro on Discord, I posted a pic of iced tea, pimpin' iced tea for Kane's Chicken that I just saw yesterday. Boom, there it is. Thank you for the post in the Discord, Randy. Iced tea knows iced tea. Fresh brewed and ice cold, Raising Cane's. I mean, wow. I mean, it only took 30 years into his career to decide to do this. I'm kind of surprised he is on our vision board, so we will ask him this in person. I honestly didn't think we would see this moment, though. This is
We got-
actually kind of a surprise to me.
I like to think that this is a stock photo of iced tea, and he's used for multitudes of products, multiple products that just like this.
all the
You
things
can-
he knows. He's
all
the
the
Bo
things-
Jackson of iced teas.
Exactly. You can just put a sandwich in there, and you can say iced tea knows sandwiches.
I love that.
Unreal.
We should go
Okay.
interview the sign. Now, did anybody have a favorite? We didn't rank these.
Yeah, let's rank.
Hey-
It's so easy for me, and we're all gonna have the exact same one, I think. Let me go first because I went first in the thing. I'm going the regular, legit Crown Royale plus Coca-Cola Classic first, then the canned one, then I'm going Jack mixed with Coca-Cola Classic, then the fucking horrible canned Jack and Cola. Trevor.
Totally same lineup. Totally. Yep.
I could switch. I think I like the Coke mixtures best. I think I kind of would go Crown and Coke, Jack and Coke, Crown and can, Jack can. I think that the can of the Jack and the Coke, I knew what I was getting, and so then I didn't mind the peanutiness as much. It kind of goes well with the sort of savory thing that Coke has going on. I don't know why.
I feel you.
Should we do our other sample? We maybe do a couple of last questions here.
Yes, and you know what? There's one other. Actually, let's wait on this real quick. We have another question from Randy that I want to get to. So we have a very special palate cleanser that Trevor so graciously gifted us. We have. Trevor, can you tell us what this is? Some Single Cask Nation?
Yeah, so we partner with Single Cask Nation. They made this. They made this bottling. The labeling there, you see the name of the film and the sheep with the boom rake there.
Beautiful,
They
Gorgeous.
call it
great
Whisky.
label.
Thank you so much. It's a vatting of 5 casks, I believe. One of which is peated. The other 4 are not peated.
Oh.
And so this has got a slight peat, smokiness, but it's not overpowering. It's a very small run of bottling, 1,600. They're available around the country in the U.S. If you can find one, you should get one. They're fantastic, really tasty. And the way that single bottlings work, this one is the actual distillery that distilled it. Was not communicated. We're not allowed to say. So what it is it's but the Single Cask Nation, they bought these casks and bottled them up for us, and we partner with them in sending them out into the world. This is a single malt. It's delicious. It's fantastic. It's an island whiskey, but
Now, do you know where they're from, and you're not allowed to say, or does no one really know, besides the people that bottled it?
I happen to have a very good idea of where it is from, but I'm not allowed to say.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
Is your really good idea, I mean, based on the now like hundreds of hours you've spent tasting whiskeys, or did somebody just be like, it's
No, it's because
Speyside, that's what it is.
well, because people, the thing with these sort of the undisclosed distillery for these bottlings is a lot of people try to talk about and sort of lay hints to where it might be so that you could guess where it is without having to actually say where it is.
Gotcha.
So the more you sort of know the whiskey landscape and you hear when people describe things,
Yes.
you could sort of guess, you can figure it out. You can follow the clues.
I love
It
that.
has a very nice smoky smell on it.
Yeah, Roro gave me the junior version pour from it, so I'm gonna
I
crack
forgot
this.
to bring another glass. Oh wait, I have a glass I can grab. Hold on.
Now, Trevor, you've got some. How
Yeah.
are you taking this?
Neat, but this is something I think, because I think there was someone else had mentioned this a question earlier on, and I wanted to mention it. Is that so? A lot of whiskey snobs will tell you that the way that you're supposed to drink whiskey is neat, with maybe a drop of water in it. Someone asked earlier why you would put water in the whiskey, and I'll tell you why. The reason why is that this whiskey is non-chill filtered. What happens is with some of the big whiskeys, they chill filter it, which means that they chill the whiskey down and then they force it through a filter. And what that does is it takes off the oil, so a lot of the oils out of the whiskey, so that when it gets cold, it looks the same no matter what temperature it is anywhere in the world. If you don't take those oils out when it gets cold or when it interacts with water, you can see it looks like salad dressing. Like you can see the oils.
Oh, wow.
So this is non-chill filtered. So if you drop a drop of water in and then hold it up to a light, you can start to see the oils separating. And that's good because it's better. It tastes better. It's got better mouthfeel when you drink it.
Probably more complex, right? Because you're not taking out those compounds in there.
Exactly. But all of the whiskey people that we talk to that are like the real expert people who Charles McLean, who's like a viceroy or he has a noble title. He's a whiskey expert, maybe the world's number one whiskey writer expert. He says you should drink whiskey in whatever way you want to drink it. Don't listen.
I love that. That's my favorite kind of advice.
Too. Yeah.
And that's a nice callback to listeners who said no beverage shaming to your cousin.
Exactly. That's all of the like real whiskey guys who are like making whiskey and like are icons of whiskey. All of those guys said, you just drink it however you like it.
Trevor, will you just put a little sugar in your coffee tomorrow and just let us know how it goes?
You know what, Roto, for you, I will do that.
Oh. All right, I'm going to take a sip of this. This has a great smoky smell on it.
Any toasts that you learned in your travels?
Ooh. You know what? I wish I could say yes. My son has learned a toast that he says all the time, which is a Cuban toast.
Hit it.
I don't think I could remember it right now.
Don't hit it.
Because it's
cheers then?
Yes, cheers. Sláinte.
There we go. Wow, this is what a treat.
Wow. Okay,
Man,
this is
there's
fantastic. So much. Very strong, Trevor. Am I right? Like this is no joke.
Yeah, it's I believe 48.8. I mean, you have the bottle in front of you.
It's got a really nice, feel on it. Like this is how you want to pre-funk your party. This is giving me the good warm feels. Okay, let me look at the label here.
Yeah, if anybody wants to know a secret, ask me now.
48.8.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Woo! I got to take another sip on this. How would you describe this, JoJo? It's like.
I'm glad you're asking me. Yeah. Good question for me of the three of us. How would I describe it? It is very complex. That sounds so corny to say, but I mean, it's just like, it is truly an oasis in the desert after drinking these last four. It makes me realize how I don't really like super. Well, I love tiki drinks, but I don't love this kind of a sugary drink. What we were just doing, that they don't do it for me in a way. But okay, back to this.
It feels very. Go on. Sorry, Jodo.
Well, you certainly get the peat there, but it's not. It still has like kind of caramely bits to it too. It's not super harsh. It's not too smoky. This is like a real sweet spot for me for scotches, where I think, some people really love that smoky as you can get kind of thing. But this to me is like right where it's at because it's very balanced.
I haven't had anything like this, and granted, I haven't tried that many like nice scotches like this. This is great though.
My shoulders just relaxed.
Like, is this like if someone that's someone like yourself, Trevor, that has tasted so many of these, are you kind of like, oh yeah, like I've had a bunch that sort of taste like this, or is there a uniqueness about this one? I'm just curious if that question even makes sense, because I've never had anything like this, but it's really pleasing, and it also feels very like I wouldn't have a crazy hangover from this, if that makes sense too.
Well, I'll tell you, we drank regardless of the amount of whiskey we drank, I didn't feel hungover at any point when we were making the film.
No way.
And And so I think that that's because of the quality of the stuff we were drinking. But and in regard to your question about whether this is unique or different, the thing that I like about whiskey is that if you really start getting into it, there's so many things that you can taste that are phenomenally different from these other things. And I think you have to drink a lot to sort of get to that place, because you have to get through the heat to get to the nuances. But when you drink like a really heavily sherried whiskey or a really unpeated but matured in bourbon barrels whiskey, those two whiskeys taste phenomenally different. And you can get the same whiskey can be made in a port pipe that tastes different from the other two, dramatically different from the other two. And then when you introduce peat and peating levels and different variations of peating levels, I mean, the varieties of flavors you can get, I mean, they're subtle because the heat hits you first. And a lot of the really fine whiskeys are going to be cask strength, which means they're going to be way above 40% ABV. We've tasted, there's a whiskey called Octomore, which is Lafroig, which most people know is like a very smoky, peaty whiskey that is about somewhere between 40 and 60 parts per million phenols. That's the rating on the Lafroig. But an Octomore is like 130, and it may have an ABV of 60.
Wow.
So like the variations of the kinds of things you can taste if you get through the heat of the whiskey is endless, and that's what I like about it.
That's amazing. Earlier, Randy, you just talking about that like crazy high ABV one. Randy had asked, while making the documentary, was there any mixed drinks or was it all straight during it? Was there at any point in time were any of these mixed with anything, at whether you were at the distillery or a liquor store, or was it always straight?
No, we had to. So we went to, there's a festival in Isla, which is where we spent most of our time, called the Feshiel. And at Ardbeg, I think it was either Ardbeg or Lafroig. If Weeman's here, he can, the Weeman, Big Dram Weeman or whatever.
Big man Weedram.
If he's still here, he can tell you what it is. But that they made a cocktail called a Smoky Cokie, which is very apropos for us, which is a very heavily peated smoky whiskey with Coke.
Ooh.
So, and it's delicious because the smokiness of the whiskey balanced against the sweetness of the Coke is really nice. Lagavulin, there it is. I knew Big Man was still here. So Lagavulin does it. So the Smoky Cokie, which was really delicious. And then also at Bruichladdich, the distiller we spend most of the time at, they also make botanist gin. So we did a whole day filming, talking to them about the botanist, and they were making cocktails first the whole time.
Wow.
The one thing that was consistent is that we were drinking every day that we were there.
Yeah.
Loads.
Listen, if you were drinking stuff like this every day, I get it, man. This is, I don't know.
This is delightful. I do feel like even sometimes with a scotch that I'm interested in, that I say like, oh, this, I like this, or I see what and almost that sort of taste testing any alcohol kind of way. We're like, oh, that's interesting, but I don't know if I'd want a whole one, let alone a second one or a third. I'm excited I want to find a bottle now. That's going to happen. This is like, there's some other notes in there that I feel like I keep kind of going back to, and I'm trying to figure out what it is, but I'm like,
what's interesting.
I get a vanilla note on it.
Yes, very much. That's it. Because I kept thinking, like, is this kind of like a floral thing or a sweet thing? And that's exactly it. Vanilla.
And granted, we've been drinking, ridiculous Jack and Cokes and Crown Royales, so we're, a few minutes along in this whole process. But this is giving me a great buzz and a really pleasant body feel. Like, yeah. And I think that is something about scotches and whiskeys. They come with a different, feel than if you're drinking straight vodka or straight tequila. Everything has their own different vibe, but there's something warm and fuzzy about this that I'm all about.
I would say that we do a screening of the film. It's not the PBS screening, obviously, but we do a screening of the film where we have logos come up in the bottom corner throughout the film. The logos are small color-coded logos of Glencairn glasses. And we do a tasting set where as you watch the film, at certain times you have a tasting kit in front of you. And then when the green icon comes up, you drink the green dram while you're watching it. And the dram you're drinking coincides with the story that's being told. So when they talk about Octomore, you're drinking that Octomore, and you're talking about, you know, the beginning of the distillery, you're drinking the Brook Laddie, the classic Laddie. And we encourage anyone who is watching and wants to go watch the film to drink whiskey while you're doing it, just because of that, the body feel. There's something about the way it changes your body, and then also makes the film better, frankly, if you've had a couple of drinks.
That's amazing.
Fuck yeah. Can we do one of those?
Yeah,
Can we host one?
Yeah, we should try something like that, or host one of those, or this is giving me all sorts of ideas. I love it. Woo!
Got to get the kit together.
Got to get the kit together.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Some love for Scottish gin in the chat. The tasting experience is so unique. How did you feel about your Scottish gin experience? You said you did drink it, but when you were so immersed in Scotch to then throw that into the mix, was it like revelatory, or were you like, no, get me back to where I was?
No, I think gin is spectacular. I love gin. I think the thing about gin is the same thing I like about whiskey is the variety, you know, what botanicals you're using. And also the thing about gin that is so cool, and I've had gin in a lot of different places, is a lot of people are doing gin that's like localized gin. So the botanist, for example, uses only botanicals that can be sourced on the Isla of Islay. So when you drink that gin, you're tasting the gin that is sourced exclusively from that place. And it's the same everywhere. I mean, I was in Detroit recently and had a gin at a distillery there. And the bartender told us that each of the different gins we were tasting the botanicals had been sourced within a mile of each of the owners' houses when they grew up.
Whoa.
So
amazing.
That's crazy.
It was, you know, you connected with these people in a way that was extra and fun. And I think that's something that's what makes, for me, what drinking spirits, that's what makes it exciting, is like sharing the places and the people who made it and the inspiration that brought them to that and the places and that kind of thing.
That's beautiful, man. Like,
amen to that.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, on that note, I think, Jojo, are you ready for the section of the show where we're going to have this man answer a question for us?
I am.
Okay, so are you ready? This
Yes.
part of the show, Trevor, is called
Brian's question.
So when we started the show, my brother-in-law Brian sent us 100 questions, and then when we rebooted it as a streaming powerhouse, he sent 100 more, and we're about to make you read one of those. Trevor, are you ready for it?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, Jojo, do you want to pull that up for us?
I do.
Brian's question: is a blender bottle the ultimate midlife beverage accessory?
Wow. I actually copy and pasted this one successfully without looking at it. So I did not know what was coming tonight.
I saw one of these for the first time on TikTok. I should have saved the TikTok. Trevor, do you know anything about this?
I know nothing about blender bottles, but I assume that they're bottles where you put like a powder in it and a beverage, and you make it. Feels to me less like a midlife thing and more like a gym thing. Right?
Yeah, it feels to me we're finding more about Brian taking care of his body in midlife than anything about midlife times in general.
Right. It feels like, isn't this one of these things where you sort of push a button and it like spins a thing inside and mixes up your like protein?
Almost like a salad spinner. It's like you're bringing this thing to the gym and you're just kind of like pumping it a few times or something, and it makes you a little smoothie on the go.
Well,
right.
I saw the TikTok I saw was like a battery powered one where they had like kind of put all their stuff in it, and they made a boozy drink that they were taking to the beach. And then when they got to the beach, they fired the button and it made like a slushy boozy drink. It was pretty sweet.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, friend of the show, John Gabris, was talking about these on a podcast recently, and more just they litter the backseat of his car because they get disgusting after using them at the gym for weird protein type drink concoctions.
Oh, interesting.
So that to me seems disgusting, but I love this idea of an on-the-go slushy machine without needing a power source.
Now, if these things, can they crush ice? Like, could you put?
Yeah, I think some of them can. I think we're kind of talking about two different SKUs actually, but there are like battery powered ones. The one I saw on TikTok where it was on the go, they were bringing it on the go, and
you
it
didn't
was
save
electric.
this TikTok, huh?
I didn't. Anyways, but yeah. But what are the gym ones that you guys are speaking more of?
I think it's more of just like a thing you can close and shake. It's more of a shaker than it is a blender. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
We're
So
talking about
we're probably
portable
talking about two different things.
A portable blender, that's a very baller thing to have, I would say. I don't have one. I'm at the age now where this would be the thing for me. I'm thinking now, even you describe it, that it sounds like the kind of thing I would want to do. Go to the beach and have like to be able to like throw together a daiquiri or a frozen margarita at the beach. I mean, that sounds amazing.
Okay,
So
we've got someone in the chat saying it's got a widget in it to break up powder. So it really is just like a thing to break up protein powder.
Gotcha. Okay, so that is a different thing. So to
there's
answer
literally
Brian's
a thing
question,
called the blender bottle that you can buy. This is a branded thing, 28-ounce capacity, $10 on Amazon.
Gotcha.
And yeah, you're tossing your scoops and stuff right through the top of the thing.
Love it.
And they're expecting you to attach it to a key ring, apparently. Drag this thing around town.
I mean, I think you guys already answered this. It's not the ultimate midlife beverage accessory. It is the CrossFit accessory, if you will, or your working
that's
out
it.
man's accessory.
Yeah, it's a gym rat thing.
Gym rat, exactly. Now, I have some kind of big news that's adjacent to this and more similar to the portable beach scenario. I recently got one of these. It's called the Beast.
Wow.
Whoa.
Now, this just happened.
Look at that local honey in there.
One of my kiddos has been wanting smoothies lately, and our blend tech died years ago. It was kind of a piece of shit blend tech. It never really worked right. And
wow, that's a beverage profile update, by the way.
Yes.
Andy and Elizabeth got a blend tech blender, and I feel like we did a lot of work for them.
Yeah, and it was never, it never worked that well. And then finally it was just like, this thing's going in the trash. It doesn't work for how great they're supposed to be. So my kid was asking for smoothies, and Elizabeth is pretty anti-blender because we don't have any room for blenders at the house. Yeah. But about a week ago, she dropped hints that she was maybe open to like a personal thing. And then I pulled the trigger and I just got this one night. And she was pretty upset when it showed up because we don't have room for this. But I fired it up for the first time today. This thing's pretty fantastic. It has one button, only one button. You dab it real quick for a pulsing, or you hold it down for 1 second and it starts its minute-long cycle. And let me tell you, this fucking thing blends. And I made one of the best strawberry banana smoothies I've ever had. So I highly recommend the Beast. Much more, I will have updates later, but pretty excited about this thing, and it's pretty. I think it looks pretty nice too. We got the black one, which looks like this.
Ooh, slick!
Nice.
Did you now you press that button? Can you cancel the 1 minute timer?
Yeah. You just hit it again
and
and
it
it stops.
Okay.
No, yeah, you just hit it again and it stops.
I like the Beast Health too. Very macho.
Yeah.
Very much.
It's a little something for everybody there.
Macho.
No, did you ever mess with a new Magic Bullet?
I had a NutriBullet back in the day, very early on in the NutriBullet arc, if you will. Yeah. And I actually, when I did a little research on this, I went on to, I think it was Wirecutter, and it said one of the NutriBullets was like the way to go for one of these smaller blenders. But it said if you want to do a little upgrade, they recommended the Beast. You're paying a little bit more money, but they said it's also a lot quieter. And I was like, that sounds like that's for me. And then when I saw the look of it, and it's a nice,
looks great.
I was like, this is great. So I'm pretty happy with it. Obviously, I'm on day one, but I'll keep, stay tuned for anything on that. Yeah, for any and everything on that. I'm starting to slur my words, Trevor. Thank you.
I finished mine. I'm going to go for round 2. It's going to be a little nightcap for me.
Nightcap City. Well, on that note, everybody go watch The Water of Life. It's going to be airing on PBS. You can find out when it's airing on PBS. Oh my gosh, I've been boozing a little bit.
Somebody brought up in the chat earlier that we should do a watch along on the Discord, and I think that is 100% what we're going to do.
I absolutely love that idea.
A little watch party.
I'm putting on,
unless that fucks up your numbers, Trevor, in which case we'll all watch it separately. And
no, it makes no difference to me. Please, I would be honored. Would be so exciting.
Yeah, we're scrolling in at the bottom of the screen right now. Go to wateroflifefilm.com. All the socials are water. Waiting for it to cross the screen.
It's all Water of Life Film, right?
It's all Water of Life Film.
Yes, Water of Life Film.
A fantastic thing to watch this Father's Day, if I may suggest. But you're going to watch it with us in the Discord sooner than later as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Trevor, thank you so much for coming on this ride with us and putting up with our horrendous Jack Cola cans, and then getting us tipsy with this unreal,
beautiful, next level,
the Water
scotch.
of Life limited edition. Where, if someone really did want to find this, where would they start? Where would they go hunting for it?
I'll tell you what, I'll send you a link where you can go and check it out, and then you can post it if you want. And then the liquor laws are all crazy in this country, so some states have it and some states won't have it. But I can send you a link where, if your state does have it, where you can find it. It is in California. Right. I will say that.
Yeah, shoot us that link. We'll share that out.
Yeah, I'll send it over to you.
For sure. Everybody have a great week next week. Vacay. We're taking Mr. Snackers on vacay, but we'll be back the following week. Jojo, is there anything else you can think of before?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be so fucking tan when you see me next.
Ooh,
you wait.
Are you really?
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be.
Wait, I think I might be so tan. Do you want to have a tan challenge?
A tan off. Yes, I do.
Oh, stay tuned. You're gonna have to come back in 2 weeks to see how tan we look.
That's right. Calling all farmers.
Sounds fantastic. And Jojo and I are going to do our best to have some tan moments at T-Bash Live on all social media to be sharing what we're up to on the beverage front while we're on this vacay.
I'm going to be live streaming my entire tanning experience, so you can just hop on the channel anytime, day or night, and you'll see where I'm at tanning.
Tanning with Jojo, a new podcast coming soon. Trevor, again, thank you. Everybody go check out the film.
Guys, so much.
This is a pleasure.
Yeah, this was amazing. I feel nice right now.
And this is a treasure.
All right, everybody. Go
fuck yourselves.